Okay, this is Professor Dawn. This is video 1 for creative writing, and we're going to spend most of this video talking about character. So we're just going to give it a try. We're going to hop right in there, whether you're one of my students at Heritage University or one of my YouTube students. Welcome to character. Let's see if we can get going. So we're just going to start out briefly with ideas. Where do you get your ideas from? How do you know if it's a good idea? So taking ideas from stories you like, stories you know, classic stories are always great, right? There are certain arcs that are common, certain, Shakespearean tragedies, certain comedies, certain things that are very common. So the thing is that you want to think of a story you like, think of a genre you want to do, but you want to add something that really makes it original. Right? So if you want to do a bounty hunter mystery, how are you going to add this and really make it original to you? Are you going to make it the bounty hunter a woman? Are you going to make it a bounty hunter on Mars? Are you going to make it a bounty hunter that she's funny? What are you going to do to add elements that twist things together that make it unexpected? So they say, every arc has been written before. What are you going to add to it that makes your story original? So you're going to brainstorm ideas from other stories that you know and use that as a jumping off point. 2, you're going to think about taking something from your real life. When you do this, you really want to exaggerate it and pump it up, right? So if you're a plumber and you want your person to be a plumber, then make sure that you exaggerate the stories for humor and to make it funnier, to bring up the conflict. Another way to start with your ideas is to think about a moral premise that you want to have in. Is part of your real message that you want to get across that friendship is one of the most important things, or that love will conquer all, or that the good guy always wins? So think about that, because you're going to make that part of your strong middle. So if you have these general ideas going, it's going to help you for your idea in starting, right? So in starting, you're going to need your character, your setting, your plot. Those things are going to have to begin to come to you as you're starting your general ideas. But so these 4 things: ideas from stories taking something from real life, having an idea of the moral premise, and then brainstorming from things you see and hear in the news, music, and from friends' lives. All these are going to begin to be the swirl of ideas that get you going to be starting your story. Okay, so that's the very first step. You've got your general ideas. Then right after that, you're going to go into character. It all starts with character, right? Characters drive your story. It has to have a good, lovable, relatable, universal character. The character must have goals, obstacles, internal conflict, and compelling reasons to win. Okay, so we are never going to follow a story that we don't like and relate to the character. Characters in stories. So a movie or a short story, it doesn't matter if you're writing a very short story, a novella, a full-length novel, a play for Broadway, or something that you hope will be a blockbuster. A story needs a sympathetic hero who has to overcome a series of increasingly seeming insurmountable obstacles at high stakes to attain a goal he greatly desires. Right? So a movie needs a hero who has to win a series of very difficult, seemingly hopeless problems where there's a high risk to get to an important goal he or she really wants. And the reader or the viewer has to be invested in this outcome. So we're going to talk about character quite a bit, but I want you to get right away that you only have about a page tops to get your reader to connect emotionally with the hero and to root for that hero. So you have to either want to be that character You have to want to be the main character. You have to want to be the best friend who saves the main character, who hangs out with the main character, or who falls in love and is the love interest of the main character. You have to, as the writer, suck the reader in, so they want to be in that world with that main character and spend time with that main character. So you first and foremost have to make that character relatable and interesting and likable, right? So you have to think about what traits make them likable and what are their goals and what's going to stand in the way of their goals, right? It's so important. I'm going to say it again another way, because you have to get this. To write a great story, push a likable character through harder and harder trials he or she must overcome in order to be victorious and get the final reward. So think about your favorite novel character, right? Why do you like them? Are they brave? Are they funny? Are they resilient, right? So some characters in stories that people just love, right? Universally love them. The characters from Harry Potter, right? They're very memorable. People really relate to them. They relate to Harry Potter because he's kind and he's an underdog and he continuously steps up to help his friends, right? People relate to Sherlock Holmes, right? The picture on the left is 3 different actors who've played Sherlock Holmes, right? Books are, over 100 years old and people still relate to this character who's very detail oriented and is very persistent and uses this smart sense of really perceptive detail to continue to find what's really going on where other people give up, right? So whatever the traits are that you're giving your character, both good and bad, right? Because we know Sherlock Holmes has some things that's kind of annoying. Whatever the traits are, from the very beginning, you have to make it very clear and get it right there so that people feel that trait about themselves. And they say, yeah, I'm smart. Yeah, I'm really good with my friends. Yeah, I'm the underdog. I relate to being a magical person in a world full of muggles. Yeah, I want to be the hero who solves the problem and helps the person who needs it. Those kind of things. So when you're analyzing character in story, ask yourself, do we care about this character? Why should we care? What is it about this character that we care about? So when you're making a character, whether it's in film or a short story or whatever it is you're writing, remember that likability for your main hero. And this goes true for other characters, right? So you're going to have probably 5 or 6 characters in total. You're going to have your main character, the main character's best friend. You're going to have a villain that opposes. You're going to have like a mentor, all these kind of whatever their main 6 characters are. But we're talking right now about your main character. The likability, you're going to have certain traits. You don't have to have all of them. You don't have to show them all right away. But whatever your top 2 or 3 are, you're going to show right away. They have a code. There's something remarkable. They have certain layers. They have great friends. They take care of their dog. They solve problems. They have a sense of humor. Whatever it is, you're not going to tell us John has a great sense of humor. You're going to show us how he has a sense of humor. And you're also going to show us that it's an emotional defense, right? You're going to make these characters real, right? They're not a character, they're a person. When it becomes a person to you, it will become a person to your reader, okay? So as soon as you get that, your character has to have a backstory. This means it has a whole entire life that happened to the character before page 1. So if your character is 18 years old, your character had 18 years of life experience before page 1. That's your character's backstory, and you need to really know it. You don't need to necessarily tell the reader all that, but that sense of depth has to be there. So this is just a list of some things that makes for a likable hero. And we're just going to watch a short clip about a likable hero, and then we're going to end it here for today. We're just going to keep it really short. Okay. In the next video, we're going to talk about what's called unfair injury. So everybody relates to a hero that has had something bad happen to him or her. Nobody gets past the age of 12 or 13 without having something unfair that has really hurt them. And that's a quick way that we begin to relate to the hero. So very quickly, you have to show what the unfair injury is and what's the defense that is the way that the hero copes with that, right? Whether it's Tony Stark, Iron Man, or whether it's, Harry Potter, we know like his unfair injury, right? About how his parents die, whatever it is. But I want to show the likability. And we're going to watch this very short clip, and then we'll talk about unfair injury in the next video. So I kind of hope this helped. Let's switch over and we'll watch this. You ready? Here we go.
Make it move. Oh. He's asleep. Sorry about him. He doesn't understand what it's like, lying there day after day, watching people press their ugly faces in on you. Can you hear me? It's just, I've never talked to a snake before. Do you? I mean, you talk to people often. You're from Burma, aren't you? Was it nice there? Do you miss your family? I see. That's me as well. I never knew my parents either. Mommy! Dad, come here! What are you? This snake's doing?
All right, so we're going to stop there for that. So I just wanted to show you that because it shows right away how, and it's very early, right, in the Harry Potter series. One reason we like him, right, is that even though he has his cousin bullying him, he stands up to his cousin a little bit. He says, hey, don't be mean to the snake, where other people might have just let that go, right? And then he begins to talk to the snake, even though he thinks the snake can't understand him. And he's so kind, right? And he relates to the snake, and he just is nice, right? So first, he doesn't let the bully him around too much. And he protects the underdog, right? He says, hey, be nice to the snake. Then he talks to the snake in a nice way, even though he thinks the snake, he doesn't expect anything back. And then when the bully comes again and pushes him out of the way, he does the little magic and he makes the glass disappear and the cousin falls into the moat. So there's 5 small things, but in quick succession, we relate to Harry Potter. We relate to this way of being the good guy, right? And being the nice one. So we get these traits of being the fish out of water, being the underdog, but still being the good guy who's going to rise to the challenges. So it's very quickly established. And so what I would encourage you as you begin to think about character and you begin to think about what you want for your story is think about and make a list of all the good traits that your character has and how you're going to show them. And think about the flaws, because we never like somebody who's perfect. And just really get in your mind a concrete beginning scene of how you're going to show why and how we relate to the character and how we like them. I'll see you again for Unfair Injury. Thanks for listening. I'm Professor Dawn. See you next time.